Well, first things first, thank you for tuning in and watching another one of my videos. After I had finished the island project, my wife really wanted to change the chandelier that was over the island. One, because the island got bigger and it wasn't necessarily center, and then also the chandelier that we put in was having electrical issues. It was cutting in and out at random times. It was really, really annoying. It looked decent, but it didn't give us that awe that we wanted. So my wife found a sale on this hand-blown glass chandelier online, which is absolutely stunning. The only negative thing, which you'll see in the video, is that it was like 30 pounds. So I had to make sure that it was screwed into a stud in the ceiling, or a joist, I should call it. So you'll see right now I'm just trying to find the center of that joist. I'm moving it around, trying to make sure that it looks level and looks good before I decide to actually wire it up. But thank you again for tuning in, and I hope you find this video inspirational and inspiring and educational. One thing I want to note too is when we moved in, there was like a farmhouse chandelier that was in. Then we changed it to more of like a, I don't know, like a Victorian chandelier. It was like a gold Victorian, and then we changed to this glass one. So at the end of the video, I'll show you what all three looked like and now what the final result looks like with the island done and with the glass chandelier, just so you can see like the progression of it over the years. Kind of sucks that it took technically 3 times to get it right, but third time's a charm. So the reason I'm struggling holding it here is I'm trying to find a spot to set it where the glass won't get broke. So I think I call on my wife to help me, or I forget what I did. I set it down somewhere where it wouldn't break. Funny though. So now that I found out where I want the chandelier actually mounted, found the joist that it's tied to, it's centered, I'm starting to put on the hand-blown glass pieces, and each one of them was like a different weight, so I had to evenly distribute it so that it was level, it looked good, it wasn't like crooked, which was a little time-consuming, but also probably pretty satisfying to watch afterwards. And yeah, I'm just lining it up, making sure it looks good. Got them all on, you can see, and then I'll start doing the wiring. So now I'm to the point where I'm going to start wiring up the light. It's a little bit time consuming with chandeliers because you have to snake the wire through the chains to make it look good, and so it doesn't stand out. Usually the wire is like clear though, so it doesn't really stand out anyways. Obviously I always shut the power off, I shut the breaker off, and then I check it with a multimeter before I even start messing with it. This video is just for entertainment. Do not take my knowledge as expertise, to do this yourself. If you don't feel comfortable with it, get an electrician. Make sure you get somebody who knows what they're doing. I would hate for somebody to try and do it and get electrocuted. Do not do that. But yeah, now you see it works and everything's good to go. Hack here for you. Hopefully you can hear it over my newborn over there trying to talk. So let's say you're trying to set the sag on this chain here. If it's too saggy and you want to tighten it up without taking another link out, if you twist it, hopefully I don't break these glass plates on here. Maybe not that much, but if you twist it just so where it's not going to kink.
You don't crumple a newspaper up, you twist it.
And then you put it back, tightens it up a little bit without you having to take a link out. It's not going to make a drastic difference, but it might help a little bit with the cosmetics of it all. So there you go. The chandelier has been changed 3 times. Is that correct?
Yes. Technically twice.
Okay, for us twice, but yeah.
Yes,
3 times.
but there's been 3 chandeliers in this house since we've lived here. So yes.
No, this one definitely looks the best. You did a good job picking it out. That's why I wanted to ask you a few questions. These are very serious questions.
Oh no, I'm scared.
What did you... Don't hold back on these either. What did you think of the first chandelier in the house?
Oh, I hated it. It had like 4 light bulbs and it was shining up, so it was lighting up the ceiling and it was nothing but shadows below, so you couldn't see anything. And I hated it. It just like, if you're gonna have light bulbs, either have them pointed out or down. Why would you light the ceiling? And it was very industrial. It was very.
What's the F word?
Oh, farmhouse.
It was a very farmhouse. So
I despise farmhouse. So yeah, first one could not
I think
stand.
we all kind of went through that phase of I want a farmhouse, and then being like, do I?
Do I know? Do I? It's also the light bulbs were completely exposed. It was just like, it almost looked like an unfinished
I have
light
a
fixture.
photo. I'll throw it in.
Yeah,
So,
it was just like metal, and then there was just light bulbs. Like you could just straight up see the light bulbs.
yeah.
Weird.
What do you love the most about? I guess we should go into the old chandelier too. Like, why did you want to get rid of that one? The one that we had installed. It was kind of gold. It had more of like a, what kind of style do we talk about?
I would say vintage.
Yeah, like
maybe,
a vintage
classic. It was a traditional. It was
Yep.
a vintage, like
crown kind of.
like modern traditional.
Yeah.
Kind of. It was. I liked it. I really liked it at first. I picked it out. My favorite part about it was only like $50-$60. But you get what you paid for. So that being said, the light bulbs kept flickering, and we would change a light bulb probably once a month.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was horrible. They would just flicker and go out. And then
They also were like those itty bitty. I think they're like B12 or B13. They're the tiny stem ones that screw into there. So we always got the max illuminated LED ones that you could in that small size. So I don't know if that's the fact that it kept blowing, or if it was because of the fixture itself. But the bulbs weren't pulling any more wattage than what the fixture was rated for. So I think there was some wiring that was wrong with it, don't you?
yeah, well, I mean, like I said, it was super cheap.
Yeah.
So that probably. No, all the light bulb stuff, you're right, matched up because we made sure, because I didn't want to start a fire. But yeah, and then the little lampshade, where they glued the fabric, there's a little line where they glued it, was peeling off and turning different
It
colors.
was turning like brown. Yeah.
I know, it was gross. And then the lampshade was getting stained. So just from cooking in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So I would not have fabric chandeliers in the kitchen. It's just eventually going to get stained whether you.
Which I guess makes sense. Like, you look at all modern houses now, I don't think they have any fabric in the kitchen.
You probably learned.
Probably. Did we?
Okay, that lamp's so far in the corner.
I'm pointing at a lamp in the corner that has a fabric, like,
Lampshade.
yeah.
Maybe because smoke and stuff drifts up. Not that
I think so. I think it was
stuff.
from the oven, it was blowing it up. So, what do you love most? What did you love most about the old chandelier, and what do you love most about this one? Like, why did you buy the old chandelier? Were you like, oh, this is what's staying in here forever? Or were you like, oh,
I
it's
thought
just such a
that
good
was
deal?
it. No, I
Yeah.
thought that was it. You're right. I thought that one was it. I really liked it at that time. My style has changed a lot over the years. We bought that 3 years ago.
Yeah.
The island was a lot smaller and it was centered. And I was okay dealing with it until we sold the house. Even though each year, I mean, the light bulbs were really starting to piss me off. Like, I'm overstimulated all day with the kids, and then the last thing I want is a kitchen light bulb to go out all the
Flickering,
time.
yeah.
And the bulbs were hard to find.
Yeah.
You were having issues at Menards finding them
Yeah,
at
it
Home
was,
Depot.
yeah.
So it was just, it tweaked me. So, I was appreciative of the light. I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't go back. I don't know. Do I have to like it?
No, you don't. After I asked that, I was like, that sounds really dickish. Like, what did you like about the last one? Well, obviously you didn't like it because you replaced it. So.
This one, there's not one complaint.
What's your favorite thing? Like, what do you love most about it?
It's a statement piece. As soon
Yeah,
as
it
you
kinda
walk
is.
in, that's your eye sees it, whether it's lit up or not. It does. It's gorgeous when it's
It kind
dark.
of casts these shadows on the ceiling too.
But not in like a tacky way, or it's like, oh,
No.
it's horrid, it's stripes, it's like, oh.
It's like a glowing orb of light.
It's like
just
so
brrr.
subtle, and it's so gorgeous, and I love that each glass piece is different. Like each wave
Custom.
in there, it's custom, it's one of a kind. You
custom.
haven't seen it anywhere. It was a good price because there was no ratings on Amazon when I bought it. So it was kind of sketchy when I bought it, but it was so worth it. It was. I told you when we sell the house, I'd like to take it with us and just put up a crappy one. I know, we'll never find it again. It's so gorgeous.
We'll have these videos that nobody will watch but us. What was there something that like really inspired you to buy this chandelier? Like, was there one inspiration, like a video you saw, or like maybe you put a couple different styles of kitchens together and was like, oh, this is kind of something that I think would look better? Was it something you were just kind of scrolling through, you saw it, and you're like, oh wait, that kind of looks good. Maybe I'll throw it in Photoshop and see how it looks.
I'm just a winner. I have just such good taste.
Okay,
I just
good.
pulled it out of thin air.
Winners were merry winners. So
no, I looked at vintage. I think I typed up vintage modern chandelier, and after scroll, I think this was on like page. It was on Amazon. I think it was on page like 20. And this was after weeks and weeks of searching, and my eyes were like bleeding, and it was at like 2 a.m. or something because I was breastfeeding our baby. I was breastfeeding our daughter, and my eyes were just swollen, and I was like, chandelier, and I was on like hallucinating.
Chandelier.
Yeah. 10 hours later, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, no reviews. Like, don't know if it's like legitimate, because Amazon sellers aren't always legitimate, like the further page you go. And then I bought it, and I was like, well, I'll hope for the best at this point. And then I think I kind of forgot about it when I bought it, or like I bought it.
I think you did forget about it. Just like I come home and you're like, Nick, there's a package coming in the mail, and you're like trying to hide it from me because this was like a week after we. When was it? Was it after I finished? Yeah, it was after I finished the island. It was after I finished the island.
Well, it was after Carly was born, but it was like 2 months after she was born.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it wasn't 2 months after she was born. I remember.
It was like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was like right after your parents left. You're like, let's do this. I'm like,
whoops. I don't remember. I was very sleep deprived. I don't recall that.
No. What is one thing you dislike about it?
I can't take it with us to our next house. I don't think there's one thing.
Yeah.
I
I would
don't.
say the weight. The weight is the biggest thing.
Well, no,
It's
you solved it.
Well, yeah, I screwed it into a rafter, but I would say for the average Joe looking to hang it, I wouldn't try it. If you're not comfortable, don't do it.
Good thing I married a winner.
Well, you just don't want it to fall and then glass shatter in people's faces. But other than that, I was a little skeptical when you bought it, I'm not going to lie. But
It's
I
art.
love it.
It's art.
It is like art.
It's art.
It is
It's
like
art. That's exactly what it is.
No,
it's art.
it is very like art. And it's kind of soothing, too. Like, I look up at it. Like
Burns your retinas.
No, but like sometimes when we're about to eat a meal, and I guess I don't realize it, but it just kind of calms me a little bit too. It's not like a bright like hospital light, but it's also not like dim enough to be like yellow
I think
grandma's
it's also
house,
like
you know?
the waves. Like it almost looks like smoke or like the ocean, like each glass, you know?
Oh,
And then it's
yeah.
just kind of like layers that go like in depth and down.
Well, it's crazy too because like you can move these, but they stand perfectly still. It's kind of like that water that you see people are dumping out, and the stream is so like perfect that it doesn't even look like it's moving.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it's like.
Well,
there,
now
'cause
it's
all,
moving.
well, yeah, all that could move, but it doesn't. Well, I think it's about time.
Wait, you're not going to end it?
You shut off the lights.
On to the next project.